going back to Freemasonry, modern Freemasonry was given its name by Joseph Levy on August 25th, 1716, and approved on June 24th, 1717 by the first official Freemasonic Lodge. They chose Masonry because it would act as a thick veil over the secret origin of their foundation. But what we know as Freemasonry came most recently from the Order of the Knights Templar movement in the 1300s. Actually came before that, in the year 43 AD, from a group called the Mysterious Force. That's actually where Freemasonry came from. And this following information is from a book called The Origin of Masonry. The Mysterious Force was established in 43 AD, and it started when a counselor to King Herod Agrippa came to him and complained that the followers of Jesus had a mysterious force, and that they should establish their own mysterious force to combat this Christian mysterious force. And the purpose of this group was to attack the teachings of Jesus and in order to preserve Judaism. King Herod Agrippa said, quote, "We will use the hammer because it was used to nail Jesus' hands and feet. Every session will be opened by striking the hammer 3 times, end quote." And you notice that judges have the hammer to bring order to the court. King Herod Agrippa said, quote, "We will make degrees. These will be 33, symbolizing the age of the impostor." And on November the 43 AD, the first official session was held in the first temple of Jerusalem, which was a basement in the palace of King Herod Agrippa. The meeting of the mysterious force was always held in the temple. That was the name, the temple. And in 1717, modern Freemasonry changed it to the name of Lodge. To prove that Masonry is of Jewish origin, we'll hear the following quotes. The Rabbi Isaac Weiss wrote in 1855, quote, "Masonry is a Jewish institution, whose history, degrees, assignments, signs, and explanations are of Jewish nature from beginning to end," end quote. The Jewish historian Bernard Lazare wrote, quote, "It is evident that there are only Jews and Kabbalistic Jews in Masonry's origin," end quote. And finally, Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism in 1897 in Switzerland, said, quote, "Masonic lodges are established all over the world to offer us help to achieve our independence. Those pigs and non-Jewish Masons will never understand the final objects of Masonry," end quote.
So they're just useful idiots.
That's it. That's exactly what's happening. Now, to find out what Jews believe in, then, we have to go to what they regard as their authority in religion. The Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 12, we read, quote, "For the majority of Jews, the Talmud is still the supreme authority in religion," end quote. So, and the Talmud is the written word of the oral tradition of the Pharisees. The Universal Jewish Encyclopedia, page 637, says, quote, "The ultimate authority for orthodoxy is the Babylonian Talmud," end quote. And the Jews have embraced the Talmud for 20 centuries. Now, some of the things that are in the Talmud, we're going to repeat just a few of them. I'm not saying all Jews know what's in the Talmud or all Jews support what's in the Talmud, what I'm about to state. But nevertheless, it's there, and we have to repeat what's and expose what's in the Talmud. In the Talmud, the Catholic holy day is called the Day of Evil. A Christian church is called a house of evil. It is permitted for Christians to be defrauded and deceived. All Christians, including the best of them, should be killed. These are just some of the things. We don't have time to go through all the Antichrist parts of the Talmud. It's unbelievable what's in that book. Now, the Jewish Encyclopedia gives a person a definite view of perhaps hundreds of rabbinic statements on subjects, giving accurate summaries of what the Talmud generally teaches. Page 619 of the Jewish Encyclopedia, Gentiles are not called men but barbarians. Page 172 of the Jewish Encyclopedia, it says that Christ is in hell, punished with boiling hot excrement. And this is what we have here. And basically, the Talmudic Jews are the main force bringing about, the main power. There are many tentacles of this arm, but the main power is the Talmudic Jews are bringing about this Antichrist kingdom. Also in the Jewish Encyclopedia, there's no criticism of socialism or communism, and there, in fact, they say that they're instrumental in founding and making socialism flourish. In fact, Jewish international bankers financed the Russian Revolution. And now we want to look at some, and in Russia itself, you talk about the people leaving Russia before, say, the 1980s and glasnost and perestroika. 15 years of hard labor was considered a light sentence for a Gentile caught trying to escape Russia. That was before the 1980s. In Israel, now let's take Israel, under Israel's present anti-missionary law, 5738, passed on December 25th, 1977, if a Christian is caught giving a New Testament to an Israeli, he may face a jail term of up to 5 years. Notice the date on that law, December 25th, Christmas. Now let's take a few Jewish publications from the 20s and the 30s to find out what the Jews really believe. Okay, we're going to go back to prove that we're not just bringing up some current day wild wacko Jewish publications. March 15, 1923 issue of Jewish World stated, quote, fundamentally Judaism is anti-Christian, end quote.
So you have a link between Judaism, Freemasonry, and communism as all going against the Catholic Church.
Absolutely. No question about it. In the New York Jewish National Day, December 14, 1935, it says, quote, the public schools must be clear of Christmas carols and other Christmas influence. We want all this Christmas propaganda stopped, end quote. We read in the New York Jewish paper Freiheit on January 10, 1937, quote, according to the Jewish religion, the Pope is the enemy of the Jewish people by the very fact that he is head of the Catholic Church. The Jewish religion is opposed to Christianity and to the Catholic Church in particular, end quote. And they also have watchdog groups like the ADL. They were caught out in San Francisco spying on the people and so forth. We don't do them any charity by saying they're doing a great job, and this is ridiculous. They've rejected Jesus Christ, and our Lord says in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That's why they don't worship the one true God, and that was very clear by what our Lord stated to them in John chapter 8, where he said, if God were your father, you would receive me. But God is not your father's the devil, John 8:44. So they don't worship the one true God. This is ridiculous.